Hey guys, welcome back to Team Death Slinger. My name is Peter, and today we're going to look at what if Nightclaw got more support. This is in an imaginary world where Coincide gets restricted to 1 because Galaxy Loop is too strong, and Bandai decides, let's make more support for Nightclaw Lightfang. And this is my take on more or less support for a Nightclaw specific deck, less so a bridging between the two teams kind of deck. So a lot of these are built on references from the game, so if you haven't played the game, some of them might not make sense, but I will kind of explain them. So starting with our level 3, I picked Fascomon. This is a purple blue level 3 Digimon. It evos for 1 on a level 2 of either color, or a 0 for a level 2 with Lightfang or Nightclaw in its traits. It has blocker on play by trashing 1 card with Nightclaw or Lightfang in its traits in your hand. Draw 2, so this adds to the rookie base and gives you a discard to draw type rookie, which a lot of archetypes have access to nowadays. And it has retaliation. It's a pretty kind of common purple inheritable these days. There's a couple of purple rookies that do it. And because Nightclaw has a blocker level 6 in Dynamon, I think this fits really well. So this is a reference to Vascomon in the player's home in Digimon World Dusk. He's just kind of around, and he's your friend, hangs out and gives you advice and stuff. The on-play synergy will work really well with some new Nightclaw cards that will be made in this video. And then the retaliation inheritable works really well with the existing Digimon as well as other new support cards. So pretty straightforward level 3 to fill out your rookie count in this archetype. Next, we have Clockmon. This would be a 3 on a blue or black, because he is a blue-black level 4 Digimon, or 2 on a Lightfang Nightclaw. On play, when Digivolving, if you have 1 or fewer Tamers with the Nightclaw trait, you may play one from your hand without paying the cost. So starting with our level 4s, we're starting to lean more heavily into the Nightclaw trait. This plays a Nightclaw-specific Tamer. It will not play you your Coincide, or in this imaginary world where Lightfang would presumably get more support, would not play you a Lightfang Tamer. It is a 6 cost to play, so the on-play will be more expensive to pay for, because I know this deck can do its shuffling thing to get more Tamers on board if this existed. And then the inheritable will say, when attacking once per turn, de-digivolve 1 on one of your opponent's Digimon. And the color choice here is just because blue for Nightclaw and then black for the machine de-digivolve effect, more or less. So this is a reference to the balance pack from Digimon World Dusk, where you get a Clockmon on your starting team, I believe. And it has the ability to play Tamers for free to help this archetype keep up with increasingly faster decks. You know, more and more archetypes have the ability to play Tamers for free until they have 2 Tamers, or they're just really, really fast decks. So this is to help this deck, which is going to try and be a more control-oriented deck, to keep up with that. The D-Digivolve will help get around blockers and Blast Evo, because this archetype will lack your turn DP boost. So you're mostly going to be swinging in with vanilla DP Digimon, and we want to make sure that you have a tool to get around blockers. For our level 5, I chose Skull Greymon. It is a 4 cost Evo on purple or blue. This is a purple-blue level 5, or it cost Evo cost of 3 on Lightfang or Nightclaw. When Digivolving, both players play 1 level 4 Digimon from their trash, so this is part of the purple part of the card. If your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, or if this card has 4 or more Digimon in its Digivolution cards, delete one of their Digimon with the lowest level. So what this is doing is both players are going to get a level 4 Digimon, and then either if your opponent has 2 Digimon in play, so if you gave them a free Digimon and they have a Digimon on board, or if you're doing the Galaxy thing and you're shuffling your top card to the bottom of your stack, this will reward you by giving you the ability to delete a Digimon with the lowest level. So there is a way to make this work if your opponent does not have too many Digimon on board, or if you are behind, this is going to activate regardless. And then all turns, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, this Digimon is unaffected by Digimon effects until the end of your opponent's next turn. So you get a protection effect if you are doing the Galaxy thing, or if you're behind, so kind of a little bit of a comeback mechanic protection guarantee. And then the inheritable says, when attacking once per turn by deleting one of your other Digimon, return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to the hand. We are going to lean into bouncing in blue, because it's a very blue thing, and all the Nightclaw cards are blue, so that's where we're going with that. So this is a reference to the attack pack in Digimon Dusk. This allows the user to go wide, which is kind of a purple thing at the moment, while adding an additional removal effect if the player is doing the Galaxy thing. So that's what we're talking about with deleting the opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. The protection allows the deck to exist, but only if they're doing the Galaxy thing. So ideally, you are not running super far away with this if you're not doing the Galaxy thing. And the bounce effect on Inherit fits the blue part of the Nightclaw theme. For our level 6, we have Chaos Gallantmon. You had to know that this was a way for me to sneak in more Chaos Gallantmon propaganda onto this channel. This will be a 5 cost Evo on a blue-purple level 5, or a 4 cost Evo on a specifically Nightclaw trait level 5. So this card loses the ability to be compatible with the Lightfang cards, specifically because he is the partner Digimon for Chief Julia in Digimon World Dusk. He has blocker. When digivolving, you can delete one of your other Digimon, and then if you do, return one of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of their deck. So this is a strict upgrade on the BT5 Chaos Gallantmon that deletes one of your Digimon to pop a level 5 or lower. Then if this Digimon has 5 or more sources, none of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon may digivolve until the end of your opponent's next turn. So this applies a blanket floodgate effect to stop your opponent from evoing. This sounds really crazy, but also consider how many crazy effects are coming up in the next couple of sets. I think by the time they could announce support like this in this imaginary world, this would just be kind of mid. And then all turns when one of your Digimon is deleted, you may play one level 4 or lower Digimon with the Nightclaw trait from your trash. So another callback to the BT5 Chaos Gallantmon. So what this card does functionally is if you have the Skull Greymon, you get the free body off of it. You're going to be removing one of your opponent's Digimon on board. Then if you Evo into this, you're going to delete that Digimon to bottom deck one of your opponent's Digimon. If they have more than one level 6 on board, by the way, this does not do anything. They're just going to have a level 6 on board, and then their level 4s don't really matter on that turn because they're still playing with their big stack. But if they have like a single level 6 on board and no other Digimon, then this is going to punish them really hard for that. So this is a reference to Chief Julia's partner Digimon. It has blocker because this man has a giant shield, as you can see in his art. The conditional bounce and floodgate, but only if you're doing the galaxy thing. So this cares about your sources to make sure that you have shuffled sources into the stack in order to actually get that floodgate effect. The recursion effect, because it's cool on BT5 Chaos Gauntlet. That's part of the reason I like the card. That's part of the reason I think that this would be cool. It leans into the purple theme too. It has the recursion effect and the self-deletion effect. And then the source limitations on this and Skull Greymon try to make the deck lean into control rather than fast aggro. It's forcing you to shuffle your sources to get your strong effects in order to control your opponent rather than just blitzing out bodies and swinging into the opponent to try and OTK as quickly as possible. For our Tamer, we are running Chief Julia. Start of your main phase, if you have Digimon with the Nightclaw in its traits, you gain 1 memory. And then on play and on main, by suspending this Tamer and placing the top card of one of your Nightclaw trait Digimon as that Digimon's bottom Digivolution card, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon with the Nightclaw trait in its hand without paying the cost, and then that Digimon gains jamming until the end of the turn. So a couple of things to unpack there. This is like a more conditional version of the Koen Sayo. It will gain you a memory on main, and then it's going to let you shuffle a Nightclaw specific Digimon, because Chief Julia is the Nightclaw group leader, so that you can Evo into a Nightclaw Digimon. And then you get jamming, which is pretty good. Something I didn't consider that I'm thinking about just now is that this is going to make you not pay the cost, and this is on main effect, so maybe that could be up for consideration to just make this an on-play effect, and then basically when you play it with Clockmon, you're getting the free Evo, or you play it down, you get the free Evo, and you're going to start netting memory every turn. That might make more sense, but the jamming effect is because we're blue, and then some points on this is she's obviously the chief of the Nightclaw group. That's why we're adding her as a Tamer. She rewards you with memory for leaning into the Nightclaw instead of a mixed deck, so this incentivizes you to go Nightclaw Tribal. It gives an additional way to shuffle the top of your stack outside of Lunamon and Koen Sayo, because in this world, Koen Sayo is restricted to 1, and the jamming keyword because blue and no DP boosts on your turn, so it's going to give you some safe swings because of the lack of DP boosts. Lastly, we are giving an option because every other wave of support gets an option. So this is Chaos Crusher. I had to Google attacks for Chaos Gallantmon, and this is one that came up. So while you have a card with Nightclaw in its text, you may ignore this card's color requirements. All turns trash when one of your Digimon with the Nightclaw trait would leave the battle area. By returning this card to the bottom of your deck, it does not. So we have a protection effect in the trash. And main, return one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon at the bottom of their deck, then delete one of their level 4 or lower Digimon. For every 3 Digivolution cards under one of your Digimon with the Nightclaw trait, increase the maximum level of this effect by 1. And then security will activate this card's main effect. So this has a protection effect from trash because it encourages you to pitch it away with Fascomon. Ideally, you're not paying 7 cost to get this in trash and then get a protection effect. You know, you want to see it in security or pitch it with Fascomon. And then some notes on the option. It's very okay when you're losing. If you don't have anything on board, this really just removes a 5 and a 4, which isn't really going to stop you from losing. And it allows advantage when you have a stack doing the Galaxy thing. Also, if you're using this from your hand, you are probably going to have to promote your level 3, spend memory to get it to a level 4 with 3 sources underneath it so that you can return a level 6 to bottom deck, and at that point you're going to be sending your opponent to like 7 memory. So while this reads really, really strong, the actual context of the card is probably weaker than it seems, but it was cool to make an option for this archetype because everybody else gets options, so we're going to get one too. So, sample deck list. that I would run with the new support. We're not going to go crazy in depth, but just some rough outlines. We run the Moonmon egg because it's a Nightclaw egg, and when you play a Tamer, you're going to get to Evo by paying the cost. With Chief Julia and being able to play things for free with Clockmon, you're going to get a lot of Evos and be able to blitz up the stack pretty quickly. Lunamon, because Lunamon, it's going to gain you a memory when you bounce a Digimon to your hand, which with the new Skull Greymon, you actually can set up something like the Fascomon, leave it on board, and then bounce it back with Lunamon at the start of your turn to gain 2 memory, which is really great. Fascomon, because he's blocker and draw engine, which is great. And then Ukomon I chose over the Agumon, which you could run if you wanted to, but the Ukomon helps me find my Tamers, so I like it a little bit more. We have 4 of the Galgamon. The jamming is great, gaining memory is great, drawing cards is great. 2 of the Lekismon, because it is a searcher that looks for Nightclaw and Lightfang, and because we're only running the 1 Lightfang card with Ko and Sayo, this actually has potential to bottom deck a lot of the pieces that we want, so running it at 2 is just kind of fine. And the DP boost for your opponent's turn is just kind of okay because we have the Crescimon as well. 4 copies of the Clockmon, obviously, because D-Digivolve is great, playing Tamers is great. 4 copies of Crescimon, because it is like our turbo level 5. We want to be shuffling sources and then evoing into this for really cheap to stack up more sources and be able to get the benefits of Skull Greymon and Chaos Galmon. 3 copies of the Skull Greymon himself. I don't want 4 because if you don't have the ability to shuffle your sources back into your stack, this is kind of just a not great card. He's not going to do a whole lot. He's just going to give your opponent level 4, and then you're going to go, well, okay, that kind of sucks. 3 copies of the Dianamon. The blocker is fantastic. This is a great level 6 to shuffle back into by putting the Chaos Galmon under your stack, going into Dianamon, and you set yourself up for the defensive play if you have enough memory to do that. Obviously, it's also the only other level 6 for Nightclaw, so that's why we're going to run it. 4 copies of the Chaos Galmon because it's a Chaos Galmon deck now. 2 copies of the Chaos Crusher because I don't want to see it in my hand. I want to be pitching it away, maybe see Insecurity, but I just don't want a handful of this card. 2 Blue Scrambles because it can mitigate the Chaos Galmon's extra Evo cost somewhat, and also because it can play you back the Rookie, which means you can play back the Fascomon or a Lunamon and then promote up a Lunamon, and now you have something to bounce for 2 memory, and now you're super, super live on the play. 4 copies of Mental Training because everything is blue now except for Ukomon and Ko and Sayo, so you can find all of your pieces really, really easily. 3 copies of Chief Julia because the memory gain is awesome. 2 copies of the Sayo and Ko because you can still net memory when you Evo and you shuffle the stack back under, so it still does gain you memory even though we're not going to use the DNA effect. And then 1 copy of Ko and Sayo because that card is super broken and it is our mem sitter. So that is it for my imaginary Nightclaw support. Obviously that Chief Julia's a little bit more busted than I thought until I read it out loud, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know what you think you would want to do if you wanted to give Lightfang some support, and let me know if you want to see a gameplay video using this deck. I'm thinking I might do that next week, or I might do the Lightfang support and then play the 2 decks against each other and see what it would be like. So thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.
Thank you to our YouTube members for supporting this channel. It's people like Langlong, Big Z11, and Coffee Deus who make videos like this possible.